Dear students, today we are going to learn a chapter called Ledger. To understand this chapter, you should be thorough with journal entries. When you pass, you understand how you're going to post it in a ledger. Now, what's the difference between journal and ledger? Journal are your entries, and when you segregate it under particular head, it becomes a ledger. What are the benefit of this? It's very simple. When a proprietor looks into journal entries, he will find thousands of entries. He will not know what is his actual cash or purchases for that particular period. But if he opens a ledger, let's say a purchase ledger, when he opens it, he will know what is the amount of cash purchase he has done, what is the amount of credit purchase he has done. This is the benefit of ledger. All right. So it's always good to organize things in such a way that it is easy for you to scrutinize. And that is the benefit of ledger. It is called the secondary book, primary book being your journal entries. As mentioned earlier, the journal entry should be perfect, only then you can make your ledger. Now let's look into the PPT slide, which will help you and give you better idea of this chapter. The first example states that proprietors start business with cash of 20,000. Now, what is the journal entry? Cash is coming in the business, you got to debit the cash. And what are you going to credit this time? The capital. Now, if I have to post this in a ledger, which are the ledgers involved? First, cash ledger, and second, the capital. So, in the cash ledger, if you see, I'm putting the marker here, the cash ledger. If you see in the cash account, debit side, I have written to capital 20,000. So this is what I have to do. Since I have debited the cash, in the ledger of cash, I have to put in the debit side the figure 20,000, and this is the particular column where I have to describe to capital. Now what happens in a capital account? Capital has been credited, isn't it? So in the capital side, you have to write by cash 20,000, and then you have to write the particular as cash. You can take any of the examples. Salary paid 5,000. Now, what is the journal entry for this? Salary has been debited 5,000 and cash has credited 5,000. Cash is going out. Please understand that part. Okay. And salary being an expense, what nominal account say? Debit all expenses, right? That's why we have debited salary. So salary of 5,000 has been debited. Now, when you create a salary ledger, what you're going to do? You're going to debit this 5,000 figure. If you see in the debit side, I have written 5,000, and in the particular column, I have written to cash. And if you see the cash account, what has happened with cash? Cash has been credited, right? So in the credit side, you should be writing 5,000 and you should be writing by salary. I believe with this video, you understand this chapter very well. It's a very simple chapter, very important chapter for next year. This year, you probably might be only making your ledger, but next year you're going to analyze your ledger and you should understand what happens. Now let's say that I close the cash ledger. Now how do I close it? I will say which side is bigger, debit or credit side. So the debit side is bigger. I have written the total 23,600 both the sides, and this side is short. It is only 5,000. So 23,600 minus 5,000, I get a balancing figure of 11,400. Please understand, personal account and real account are the only two accounts where you get the balancing figure, because this figure goes to your balance sheet. But when it comes to nominal account like salary or rent, the balancing figure, like over here, you have written to cash and the balancing figure comes this side, it is transferred to profit and loss account or trading account, whatever is the case. All right. So this is one thing which can come as a theoretical part, or it might be helpful for you next year, as I told you. So be very sure about it. Personal and real account, there is always a balance which is carried forward to the balance sheet. In nominal accounts, you don't do the balancing. I hope it is clear. Now let's look into the right hand side. What is the example given here? Now this is a very typical sum which comes in your exams. Opening balance of Avinash is 50,000. Now seeing at the opening balance, are you able to make out whether it is debit or credit? You can't. Why? Because you don't know who Avinash is for you, isn't it? So now let's look into the next part of it. He purchased goods worth 30,000 on credit. Now this is a big hint for you. If he is purchasing good, obviously he is your debtor, and debtor is an asset, and asset carries which balance? Debit balance. Now this is the biggest hint in this sum, and based on which the opening balance of 50,000 I will write over here in the debit side. Okay, I will request students not to jump writing the opening and opening balances. Unless you're not sure, you cannot do that. So be sure what kind of asset is it. Is it an, I mean, what kind of item is it? Is it an asset? Is it a liability? Is it an income, or it's an expense? All right, so for me, I understand Avinash is a debtor and debtor carries a debit balance, so I'm going to post it in the debit side. He purchased goods worth 30,000 on credit. Now what's the journal entry? Now you are doing accounts from the business point of view. Okay, so he's purchasing, that means you are selling the goods, right? Sale is a revenue, I have to credit sale. And what am I going to debit here? Avinash, because he hasn't paid me, right? So Avinash account debit to sales. So in Avinash account, what will I do? I will debit and I will write the figure 30,000, and over here I will be writing credit sale, out of which 10,000 goods were returned. What happens when Avinash return goods? What is the term called? Sales return. Now sales has got a credit balance. Sales return will have obviously the debit balance, isn't it? So sales return debit to Avinash. To Avinash means you're crediting Avinash. So in the credit side, you will see my sales return as 10,000. Look into the next line. He made a part payments against his due amounting 30,000. Now what has happened? You are getting cash from Avinash. You can either say cash account debit to Avinash, or you can say bank account debit to Avinash. Okay. So when I'm getting cash, when I'm debiting cash and I'm crediting Avinash, obviously in the ledger of Avinash, I have to credit my cash. So that is how I have written 30,000 here. He did a cash purchase of 25,000. Now, if there's a cash purchase, what is the journal entry? Cash to sales. Now, in this journal entry, cash to sales, have you heard the word Avinash anywhere? No, not at all. That means there is no impact on Avinash ledger. But if you are making a cash ledger or sales ledger, obviously there will be debit and credit posted properly. But for Avinash, there is no entry whatsoever. Let's look into the next part of it. He became insolvent and company could recover 60 paise in a rupee. Now, what does insolvent means? Insolvent means somebody who doesn't have money to pay the liability. That means you got a loss now. But one more important line, it's written here, 60 paise in a rupee is recovered. What does 60 paise mean? In accounting language, 60 paise means 60%. It's the style we in accounts. It's the language in accounts we use, 60 paise. I could record only 25 paise. It means what? You record 25%. All right. So over here it's 60%. Now, how do you calculate that? Now, if you're doing a journal entry, it would be very difficult for you to do the calculation. Now, this is the benefit of ledger. Now, look into the ledger. Okay, let's analyze it. The opening is saying 50,000 and then 30,000. 80,000 is what you're supposed to get. All right. From 80, what happened is 10,000 goods he returned. So he will not pay you 80 now. He will pay only 70,000, right? Now, out of 70, he paid already 30. So 70 minus 30 is what? 40,000. Now, what is 60% of 40? 6 4 are 24. Straight away 24,000. Okay. We should be very quick in our calculation. It should take not more than a second to do this kind of small calculation. So 24,000 is ideally what I got from Avinash. So remaining 16,000, what is that called? Bad debts. Avinash is your debtor, right? And a debtor becoming insolvent is bad for you, and we call it as bad debts. I hope these words are clear. All right. Now let's say how does the journal entry goes. Cash account debit 24,000, bad debts account debit 16 to Avinash. To Avinash, that means you're crediting Avinash. So in the credit side of Avinash, I'm going to write buy cash and buy bad debts 24 and 16. I hope you understand why bad debt has been debited. It's a loss. Nominal account states that debit all losses, credit all income. Be very sure about your ground rules of accounts so that your journal goes right and automatically your ledger will be perfect. If ledger is right, what happens then? You move on to trial balance perfectly, and then what? Then you make your financial statement. All right, I hope this video clears all your doubt about ledger. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it. I hope you understood each and every point of ledger. Now let's move on to the next slide. The next slide contains test for journal as well as ledger. Journal, I believe you have tried in my earlier video. Now talking about the ledger, I have given very small ledgers to be prepared. Create cash ledger based on the journal entries over here. Create an ledger for Ajay. Again, before even debiting or crediting Ajay's balance, understand who is Ajay for you. What is Ajay's position in a business? Unless that, you won't be able to do it. And look into the third part of it. Opening balance of Sunil is rupees 4,000 and all those things. So look into all the three, attempt this one. If you're done with this, I can assure you that you're done with this chapter. Any doubt, please WhatsApp me or message me on YouTube. We'll catch up for the next video, that would be for trial balance, and that will take hardly 5 minutes as long as you understand ledger. All right, thank you.